Welcome to the Sound of Movement podcast. Today we are talking about how we design results-based programs using a revolutionary assessment process for strength, flexibility, and structural balance. This is going to be a real game changer for you if you don't understand program design.
Welcome to the show, Tribe. This morning we are super excited because this is something that we are very, very passionate about. It's in fact my passion project, you could say, something that I've devoted the better part of my professional career to. And it's the duck's nuts. It's the difference between just doing stuff that you see or hear about or read about in a magazine and doing stuff that your body actually needs. And essentially that's a very big path. It's a very different pathway. If we haven't met, my name is Yani Burmeister, and across the table from me is my brother Rad. Behind the mixer is the voice of God, Richard Lellies. Together, the three of us are Unity Gym and the Unify Movement System. Now, I want to give a big shout out to everyone watching on YouTube. If you haven't already, take this opportunity to smash that like button. It does help support our channel. And leave a comment if you like the topic. Share your experiences with assessment protocols and what has worked for you best. Big shout out to everyone on the podcast. Crushing it. We've surpassed 30,000 downloads, which is fantastic. And a very, very special and warm welcome to everyone tuning in and watching live on the UMS Movement Mastermind private Facebook group. I know Rad always says it's not a private group anymore, but I still think it is.
Oh, well, it's a group.
You got to apply to get in.
You do.
Morning, Joseph. We really enjoy interacting with the guys in the group there. It just creates a bit more of a discussion. So if you haven't already, jump over and join the group. Remember to tick that little box that agrees to abide by the code of conduct. Read the code of conduct before you join. Make sure it's the right place for you. We want like-minded people in there all striving to crush their performance goals. How are you, Richard?
Good, Yanni, good. Hey, just for the guys that are looking to tune in to the podcast later, it looks like the Anchor website is down, so sorry for the delay with the podcast coming out, but it should be up pretty soon.
Sounds good. How are you, Rad?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm just loving life, moving forward. Good things are happening, feeling good.
How'd the guys go this morning in Thursday's testing? What assessments did we do today?
So today we did the conventional barbell deadlift, which is should be 120% of the barbell back squat, the high bar barbell back squat. And we also did the seated barbell shoulder press, which should be 70% of the flat barbell bench press. And we did the single arm bent over row, the kneeling bent over row, which, to be honest, I can't remember what the ratio of that. I think it's 40 or 45%. Yeah.
Might be 45%. Yeah.
So,
and what about flexibility today?
Flexibility, we did the pancake and the middle splits, and I had some really good conversations with our members about how to get more. Some of the people look at the video of me doing it and go, "Oh my God, how do I get better at this?" And it was a funny. I had a really good couple of conversations with our members because I spoke about the idea of, like, people say, what do I do to get better at this? And I said, well, we'll turn up to the classes and do the UMS because it's all there for you. You don't have to think about it. That's the whole point about the UMS. It gives you what you need to do. You just do it. But then on top of that, I talk to everybody about the concept of, if you train for an hour a day, 5 days a week, you're actually only spending 4% of your time in the gym. So you've got 96% of the rest of your time to, either go backwards with what you're doing or do things that are going to take you forward. And so I spoke to people about the concept about, if you want to get more flexible, then it's a really good thing to just spend time in things like a deep squat, in a pancake position, in a splits position, just sitting in a way where you are stretching your muscles and working towards getting more flexible rather than working away from getting more flexible.
Yeah.
And that was a really good conversation that I had in all 4 of my classes this morning that people got a lot out of, I think.
Yeah, awesome. I want to just highlight, it's funny, I'm just 2 seconds before going live this morning, I scrolled through a conversation thread between one of our administrators, Tom Wood, over in the UK, legend of a bloke, and another member, Casey Shaw, and they're going back and forth talking about the UMS online coaching, and Casey had made a comment here that he'd tried the Athlete X Jeff Cavalier's program online and said it was great, but not to this level. And Tom's made a comment here. Jeff really knows his stuff, but the UMS is just the complete package. And what I want to highlight is that what people are talking about when they talk about this complete package is that, to my knowledge, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I will happily stand corrected. We are the only people that have systemized a 1-to-1 ratio of strength and flexibility in the main part of the programming, and then of course we do target cardiovascular in the circuit components and things like that, and outside of the strength and flexibility. But the way we do it, not only in the workouts but in the testing, is an example of that. You know, every single workout we prioritize developing strength and flexibility. And I had a really great conversation with a very close friend of mine and also a client of mine in the past, Lincoln, Eunice, who's an actor, and you know, he was talking about how he's very, very strong, very, very fit, but not very flexible at all. And he, you know, I'm just slowly working through the process of changing his mindset around how you have to approach training. And I said to him, until you adopt the notion that there is no other option, it's just how you work out. You work out whenever you're training strength or whenever you go for a run, you're also stretching on that day, you know. Otherwise, you just will forever run towards one direction whilst running away from the other direction, you know. And the way we do everything is, you know, I once was told by a mentor, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So how you do your workouts is how you will do your assessments. How you do assessments is how you do your workouts, you know.
Yep. I've never seen it done the way that we do, and I think it's important to clarify what we mean by that. And it's definitely your input that got us to this point, because, you know, if we look at the way that you and I both approach the design of the UMS, I was the one that always wanted to find the way to train that was really going to deliver the results in from a movement perspective, from being able to move better. But you were always the one that kept saying, well, how do we deliver this to everybody so that people can actually do it in a day and get it done? So if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have...
And get a tangible result.
Get a result, yeah.
You know?
If it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have had the complete program that was the balance between strength, flexibility, and with movement-based goals like calisthenics. But if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't have been put into this single workout, because I was always teaching it in a way of like, oh yeah, you just got to train for 3 hours, or you just got to do 2 sessions a day or whatever. And so we've just worked, we've iterated. And yeah, as far as I know, no one's pointed out to me that they've seen this yet, and I don't think it exists, a program that balances strength and flexibility 1-to-1 within the same workout and delivers tangible results, real results. And our members that are on, like people like Tom, are a testament to it. You know, like Tom talks about the amount of different programs that he's done. He says that he's done Athlean X, GMB, gold medal bodies, that is, gymnastics bodies, MovNat, Upright Health, just to name a few, and he's saying that none of them have the complete package like what we do. And it's important to, for me, I feel like I want to say it's important to clarify again what we mean by that. I'm not saying that we do things that nobody else does. I'm not saying like Yani and Richard and I have invented these movements that no one else is doing.
Quite the contrary.
Quite the contrary. We've just taken what works from the teachers that we've had. So we're not doing like that functional patterns stuff, right? Where it's just inventing some crazy stuff. But what we have done is we've looked at the things that we've been taught and gone, okay, well, that is too much to do in one day. If you're telling me that I need to do this for an hour and a half, and you're telling me that I need to do that for an hour and a half, so now I have to do 2 hour-and-a-half sessions, we've gone, how do you turn that into one session?
Yeah.
How do you make this and it goes completely against the trends.
Yeah.
People have been saying to us, you can't do that, you won't get results. And guess what? We're getting results, and so thousands of members around the world. Yeah. So it works. You know?
So look, just to recap, yesterday we talked about why it's really important to have structural balance for the joints and the limb symmetry and the balance between strength and flexibility for high levels of performance. It's all about creating an athletic foundation that you can then go and deploy into your chosen discipline, whether it's a sport, whether it's a passion, whether it's a hobby, rock climbing, dancing, martial arts, footy, whatever it is, boxing, and the, you know, on a physiological level, the need for structural balance in the joint to avoid joint glide, which I dove a bit deeper about yesterday. If you want to recap that, watch or listen to yesterday's podcast. But today we're going to go a little bit deeper into the how. You know, we've talked about the why yesterday. We want to talk about the how today and how we structure it. So it has to be put into the everything that you do, and this is what we lead with, and this is the ethos around Unity Gym and the Unified Movement System. It has to be systemized to the umpteenth degree for efficiency and effectiveness. Because if it's not efficient, obviously the answer is very obvious. If it's not effective, then why would you do it? But if it's not efficient, it's very, very difficult to fit into the modern day lifestyle. And modern day lifestyles are getting faster and faster, and you have less time generally to commit to yourself, to your body, and that's creating hurdles for people already. So the efficiency model is very, very important. And then we have to so that I think that's the key that we're going to sort of focus on today. So let's just talk a little bit about exactly what Monday to Friday's testing week protocol looks like at Unity Gym right now. Why don't you go through from day by day?
Absolutely. So what we do, the first thing that we do is we work out what the 6RM is for the barbell, high bar barbell back squat and the flat barbell bench press. And what that means is 6RM means 6 repetition max. It refers to finding the amount of weight that you can lift for 6 reps max. You could not do 7 reps if a gun was held at your head. It is the absolute maximum that you can do with perfect technique under very strict parameters, loading parameters, which is basically there's a technique that has to be adhered to and there's a tempo. And the tempo we use is 30x0, which means a 3-second eccentric, and we use a metronome to time this. So we have somebody has a phone that's going bip, 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 bip every second. So you're in your head, you can hear that 3 seconds. It's not that you did 3 reps with 3 seconds and then the last 2 reps you did 2 seconds. No, it's very strict tempo, which is less than what you're going to be able to lift if you just did 6 reps.
Yeah.
If someone said, here, just do 6 reps any way you can, you won't be able to do that much weight. But you have to have those strict parameters so that you can track your progress accurately, okay? So once we've got the 6RM for the bench and the squat, then we have 13 other movements. So there's shoulder remedial movements like the single arm external rotation from the knee. There's the trap 3 raise. We have remedial movements for the lower body like the high step up, the split squat. There's deadlift, shoulder pressing, pull-ups.
It tests all the most
all the
main strength weightlifting movements,
Yep.
and then it tests the auxiliary or supplementary or complementary movements to those, the supportive movements as well. And the movements have been not specifically selected by us. We've followed the movement of people like the late Charles Poliquin, Tony Battaji, who's here in Sydney, and they adopted it from other people too. There's been a lot of good strength coaches that have used this methodology for a long time.
Yep.
We've just adapted it to suit and to work in our system.
Nothing that we do is new. We've stolen from everybody and incorporated it into what we do, and that's not a bad thing. We're not here to reinvent the wheel. What we're here to do is to find a way to take the really good research and the really good things that have been proven to work and put it into something that everybody can access.
That's more efficient.
It's more efficient. So what we've done is made what was already good more efficient, and I do believe that we have made it the most efficient way of doing things. So once you've got so we're talking Monday, you've got your 6RM bench and your 6RM squat, and that actually takes a few times to get right because you'll test and you'll go, I did 7 or 8 reps. Well, you've got to retest. You've got to add some more weight and you've got to retest because you've got to find out what that 6RM is. And then once you've got those numbers, then all those other 13 lifts that we've got, for the research and the systems that we use, it's been shown that there's certain ratios that the deadlift should be compared to the back squat. Yep. That the shoulder press should be compared to the bench press, so on and so forth. So then every other lift that we've got, there's a percentage that it is of those 2 lifts, and you now are testing that exact weight of what the calculation is against your squat or your back squat And the test from there is how many reps can you do. And what we're looking for is either balance or imbalance. And when you get 6 reps at the set weight, it shows there's a balance. So if you're, for example, the bench press, the flat bench press, the incline bench press, what we look for is that it should be 85% of what the flat bench is. So if you get 100 kilos for your bench press, and that was your 6 RM, and then when you do your incline bench, you're testing at 85 kilos, that's what the weight is. If you get 6 reps, it shows that there's a balance, and you don't need to prioritize either of those. On the other hand, if you got 3 reps on your incline bench, it shows that there's an imbalance, and you need to focus on your incline bench because it's not as strong as it should be in relation to the bench. Or on the other hand, you might get 9 reps on the incline bench and it shows that there's an imbalance the other way. It shows that you need to focus more on your flat bench. So what that data gives us, and then there's also unilateral movements, which means there's like split squats, which is a unilateral squat where you do it left side and right side. And we find out if there's unilateral imbalances. We can see if the left leg is stronger than the right leg. Symmetry imbalances. And all of that data at the end of the week, once we go through a week, so each day of the week we do 3 lifts, 3 weightlifting movements or resistance movements, well they are weightlifting movements actually.
And 2 stretches.
And 2 stretches a day except for Monday. We only do 10 stretches during, 10 stretches during the whole week, so it's 2 stretches Tuesday to Thursday and 3 on Friday. And the reason why we do that is because on Monday it takes more time to get your 6 RM for your squat and bench, so we don't put any stretches on that day. Once you get to the end of that week and you have that data, it's then really, really easy to create a custom program for yourself based on your needs that is going to work out those imbalances. When you understand the UMS and you have the formula that we have and the done for you program cards and everything, it is so simple. You've got this data and you go, well, my incline bench needs work. So on my bent arm strength day, I will be doing incline bench instead of flat bench or whatever it is,
Yep. That's right. And you can tell whether you need more work on dumbbells to work out symmetry deficiencies. It just gives you the right direction, not only to come in and train for all of the health benefits related to exercise, strength training, things like that. It gives you the formula that's gonna produce your optimal body, your optimal athletic foundation. And it just makes so much sense to train in that manner, to train in a way where you're always striving for the most balanced, functional version of yourself. Your body. There's no overtraining the mirror muscles and creating dysfunction and instability in the joints. There's no guesswork anymore. There's no, it's just a great blueprint for like success in your training. And I challenge anyone who suggests that this is not needed or not necessary, because it absolutely is. Yep. I mean, why train in any other way? Yep. Why not train in a way where you're actually overcoming your weaknesses at the same time as improving every other marker of health? It's really it's quite magic when you see it start come together. And you're going to the gym. If you're going to the gym working out every day, you're going through the motions already. So give yourself a more accurate path. Plot your path more accurately. It's like introducing a roadmap to try and get to your destination as far instead of just trying to find your way there by guessing the turns.
And well, I think it's also important to say that everything that we just described there is actually what happens after 4 phases of the UMS. This is the point where you get to, okay, where do I go from here? And the answer is you go as far as you want. This takes you as far as you want to go. And when you get to a point where you're like, well, my body's in pretty good balance now and I'm squatting double my own body weight, what do I do now? Great, let's do some calisthenics. We'll teach you how to use the gymnastics rings. We'll teach you how to do handstand push-ups. We'll teach you how to do one-arm pull-up, whatever it is. And we've got the results to prove it. I mean, Ben Lodge did his first one-arm pull-up from doing our program after he'd been working on it for ages. But so it's important at this point to backtrack a little bit and say that what actually comes before all of that is a foundational program that is a done-for-you program. And the reason why we do that at the start is for many, many reasons. One of the most important ones is that when you're new to a program like this, one of the biggest hurdles you face is confusion and overwhelm.
Yep.
So we remove that by giving you a done-for-you program. So then people might say, well, how is that customized to the individual? Well, it's not, but guess what it does? It ticks 9 out of 10 of the boxes that almost everybody needs.
Yep.
It balances pushing and pulling. It does unilateral work. So it works out the majority of imbalances that most people have. And people do our foundations program. They do phase 1 of the foundations program. There's 3 phases. And they go, oh my God, I'm doing things I could never do before. Well, guess what's going to come around the corner when you finish 3 phases?
Yeah.
So that's why we do the foundations program, done for you. Then we have a technique optimizer program that we do, which we're working on right now, which is going to be coming out in the next week or 2. That's a huge addition to the UMS online coaching, which gets you ready for the testing and gets you ready for the
progressions. It doesn't just get you ready for that. It dials in the concept of, from the point where you've created a foundation of balance in the body, limb symmetry balance, joint agonist, antagonist, muscle system balance, and balance between strength and flexibility, which is the goal, the 3 primary goals of the foundations program. The technique optimizer is about introducing barbells and bilateral movement patterns for the first time, because we're mostly doing unilateral movement patterns for that limb symmetry in the foundations program. And then it's all very base level program periodization overload variables in the foundations program. You're getting, one of the big things and one of the big goals is to get you used to following a proper periodized program where you're now starting to focus on tempo, rest intervals, all of that stuff, reps, sets, getting used to those variables and how you understand them, how you decipher what you're meant to do from a day-to-day basis, week to week, mesocycle, macro cycle. And then from there, when we transition into the technique optimizer, we're optimizing technique as it sounds, but we're also taking your program knowledge to a new level by introducing the first overload variable, the first intra-set overload variable, which is going to challenge your body a little bit more. It's going to speed up the process of adaptation. And as Rad said, really prepare you for your first testing week, so that when you go into that testing week, the variables that are used in the testing week are actually easier than in the program you've just done. Because what happens at the moment is when you come out of the foundations, you go into the first testing week and it's a slower tempo. So you have to slow down the eccentric, which is quite challenging. And, is it? It might not be.
In testing week?
Yeah, because foundations is 2 seconds eccentric, isn't it?
Yeah. But the thing is, until you really use a metronome app and you get strict on it, no one's doing real tempo.
Yeah.
So we tell people this is the tempo, and we really do that for people that already understand how to do it. But because there's so much going on for somebody that's new in the foundations program, we just let people go through it,
Yeah.
But when we get to testing week, it is strict. And so that means that when we get to the technique optimizer, it's strict.
Yeah.
And with a pause, it makes it really strict, and it makes it quite challenging.
This is a really interesting comment that Joseph Gilbert has just said in the comments section here, which is just week 2 of Foundations Phase 1, and I'm realizing I slacked a lot in my own personal workouts for a long time. He's added to that, my back is like, why'd you leave me out, dude? And he's referring to the most, that's such a common issue when people aren't training in a manner where the program is structured around balance, which is that you train systems and muscles, especially guys. Guys are the worst at this. Girls neglect their upper body and generally, want to train their glutes and their booty and their legs and areas of the body like that. But it's all about how something looks, and that's very much related to what you can see. The muscles that you can't see are often neglected, like the back, like the core, like the glutes for guys. We tend to overdevelop. If you're anything like me, for the first 3 years of my weightlifting, all I trained was my biceps, lats, and chest and shoulders, And that in and of itself makes the structural imbalances in your body worse. That increases that glide, that instability in the joints, that can damage structures in the joint. And so, it's really, really great that Joseph is having that awareness, that awakening, that insight in his own training now. He's saying, I was definitely arm-oriented. Yeah, all guys are, brother. Yeah. All guys are.
Common.
And the funny thing is, all of the strength, I heard Ido Portal say this once in a workshop, best, All of the strength from the body comes from the core and the lower back. You know, like you don't get your strength from your biceps. It comes.
That's actually not what he said. Just to clarify it, he said the true sign of strength is when you look in
yeah.
the lower back and the upper back. Like that's the real sign of strength.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at people that have that thick back and the developed lumbar erectors, that's a real sign of strength.
Yeah.
Whereas bodybuilders are always looking at in the arms and
Yeah. Well, bodybuilders work incredibly hard. They can't let any muscle look weak. Yeah. You know, but it's physique over function for bodybuilders, you know. Look, it's a very, very, if you haven't done it before, it's a very revolutionary way of training. It will feel revolutionary for you. Yep. It's not revolutionary in the fact that we invented it or something like that. We certainly didn't. We've adopted it. We've adopted something that's been passed down from
the way that
coach
you can
to
get
coach.
access to it and get access to it in a way that makes sense. Because we've rather than just having the information written on paper, where you then as the layman have to understand how that looks in a workout, to have it shown to you in videos, explained to you the way we do, that is revolutionary.
Yeah.
And look, guys, we are running out of time, but we're going to talk about this again tomorrow. We're going to go a little bit deeper into this because all week we've been setting up to let you guys know it's the first time we've done this, to set you up for what's going to be coming on this Black Friday weekend sale, which is that we're doing a 2-week free trial for the UMS online coaching. And you will, if you continue after the 2 weeks, you will have lifetime access, as long as you don't cancel, at $49 instead of the regular $97. So if you're sitting on the fence thinking about this or wanting to get into it, this is the time. Get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I mean, what the difference between the online coaching and coming to Unity Gym and training with us here is that everything else we do is a done-for-you program, but it's not done for you based on what your weaknesses are. It's done for you based on helping you get to a movement, and it's a blueprint style thing. You know, it's a formula. But when you are training with a good coach, they should be assessing you. They should be assessing your body and designing programs that are structured around your body's needs, that align with your goals, that are going to get you to your goals as quick as possible. You know, so, and that's the big difference with the coaching model, with the online coaching model. It's a really, really great way of doing things. Now, tomorrow, what I'd love to open up to as well, and I encourage anyone who listens who has questions, jump on the live tomorrow and ask questions. If you've got questions about the coaching, you know, we've had questions about whether it's a real-time thing or whether you post videos and get feedback at a later date, you know, because people are in different time zones. We coach people from all over the world in I think 17 different countries at the moment, you know, and so, yeah, it'll give you an opportunity tomorrow as we bring this in for a landing to ask questions about the coaching, make a decision, make a decision about whether it's right for you before you jump on and jump into that free trial, and just get yourself set for an epic 2021 next year. It's going to be the year of recovery for a lot of people, for a lot of the world as we try to get closer to putting this whole health pandemic year behind us and move forward. We're very much looking forward to that. Anyway, Tribe.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and don't miss out on this amazing opportunity tomorrow. We'll see you guys soon.
Health is about performance, not just body image.
You better be willing to accept what you're going to have to do to get there.
We'll start focusing on movement goals, strength goals, flexibility goals.
When you nail that skill, it's there forever.
The body image goal doesn't get you that far.
It's the consistency and frequency that's going to get you there. It's not the intensity.
There's no shortcuts to mastery and movement. Destination doesn't change overnight, but your direction will.
The gym is not the place to beat up the body that you hate. It's the place to build the body that you love.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.